Alright guys, so we're back. Very cool avatar. Then is this a real avatar? But we're gonna be grabbing some games. I'm gonna play more seriously um, with my teams because I enjoy the games more in that way. I feel rusty. I am rusty, so I do need to tighten up. But I'll just break it down step by step and get back to the because I'm not happy with how I played yesterday. Yeah, I won the games for the most part, but I can tell when I'm goofing around too much. And the teams are already whack, so I need to. Shout outs to DJ, by the way, for the Among Us spread. But if we had to break this down, what's Pelipper's core purpose in this game? Because what's the big thing is that I need to relearn what these things are doing offensively. I think Polt does the same thing he usually does. Tusks, I've seen various sets. Namorous, I've seen various sets. I saw fucking Specs. Moonblast, Draining Kiss one, and I was doing some training the other day. So, things like that. So it's going to be a bit of a learning curve. I don't think I should lose the games either way, because I don't think the things they could have is that big of a surprise to where I can't anticipate at least most of it. So nothing on his team seems overwhelmingly problematic, especially for my Garg. It's really just going to depend on what the Pex is and how he deals with Dragapults. So phase 1 is going to involve my Pelipper, because I just don't see any counterplay. Like if he starts with Dragapult, unless this has like fucking Thunderbolt or something, my Roost turn 1. Well, let's see what because I didn't even structure out what my objective is. Honestly, I just want to click Braviary's Hurricane repeatedly, but let's say I choose not to Terra my Garg, which doesn't seem like the best decision to not Terra it. And the reason that matters is like I'm thinking, okay, whether I prioritize knocking out this Dragapulse item or not. If I wasn't gonna Terra my Garg, then I would. I don't think I need to Terra Braviary to get the KOs. I definitely don't, not to get any two. I 2 KOs the entire team, I'm pretty sure. So Draco Meteor comes out as we've confirmed the specs. This allows for us to reposition, likely on Toxapex, but Toxapex is just a free switch into my Amoongus. Actually, it's better to get this. She's better to get the Braviary in. I could Spore something, but this should be a 2K unless this has knockoff, and he would fear me having Esper Wing. The downside is if he goes hard Gambit, but even then the Gambit would take what 90% from this Hurricane. I'm coming off 484. I could make this modest because the Esper, I put it timid because the Esper Wing, let's see, so he leaves the Pex in to do what? Toxic. Okay, it's not ideal, but he goes to Heatran, probably forgetting about the tinted lens, and I doubt he's faster than me based on how much he took, right? So Heatran pretty much got put in a box, and so who benefits from that primarily? So it specs Polt, which means Garg definitely takes 2 Dracos. I'm just thinking again whether I want to Terra it now or not. The Pex has Toxic, likely has Surf, likely has Recover. It's really just what his last move is, and how significant is keeping. Draco did 79 to my Pelipper, so I die. By red card, it's just giving him a free switch, which isn't ideal for me. This fucking pull is gonna be a problem unless I keep Terraing. Actually, Shadow Ball, which I completely disagree with. It works out for us, obviously, but I don't agree with that play. I guess it's whatever drop. You Draco there. You Draco there every time. I know you're like, okay, well, I don't want to risk missing on the Braviary because then I lose another mon. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. Risk versus reward. Guard coming in, to me, is a massive issue for you. So you want to at least force the recover on a Draco or force the... Because if I come in on a Shadow Ball, you're finished, which is what's happening now. He could Shadow Ball again. If he gets another Spit drop, it's going to be annoying, but I can deal. Then I'd be forced to probably Pelipper back in the Garganical, but I knew Great Tusk would come. It has to. It's lefty. Well, my lord. Of course. Okay. I don't see an item yet. We definitely want to keep the... he hasn't terrored yet. How important is my rain compared to my Great Tusk? So it's offensive. He's banded actually, which is interesting. He obviously is going to double out to pull here. I could knock, but having the rain up is more valuable. Knocking out the pulse item. It's banded Tusk. Now I know that. So really, Garganical finish is Garganical wins. Like because if I go to Braviary here, and you let me go Pelipper for free and go Pult, and you don't go Pult, like Braviary is gonna kill another of your mons, which you're trying to avoid. So I'm actually really surprised he headlong rushed. Maybe he expected me to Terra, so he wanted to cover his bases with that headlong rush. But he's banded as fuck. Actually no, I'm not max defense Tusk, but I think that's still banded damage. He's gonna go Dragapult, yeah. So predictable, not, you know, it's about what you should do. So I could have knocked there. I actually forgot my Tusk was offensive, so that was a thing. I'm thinking whether or not it's valuable enough to get rocks up. Draco obviously knocks me out. Fine, I'll Mungus. Let him Draco this. It's gonna red card him, which isn't ideal for me. I get an Amorous, which is not ideal either. Actually don't know the role on actually don't know the role on this. So what we're gonna do is Moongi into Pelipper back, because he should Earth Power if he has it. It's wasting my rain though, so I might start to what's it called? So we Spore here. I'm gonna I think this might be Choice Scarfed. I don't see the reason to Moonblast again versus my Amogus. So he lets Dragapult go to sleep, which is interesting. Back to Garganical we go. And this is where things get interesting, right? Because I Iron Defense here. Is he's fishing for he might U-turn. I don't mind this staying asleep. I'd rather something else be asleep than his Dragapult. The Dragapult isn't the biggest issue. He did stay asleep for quite a few turns, but there's nothing I could have gone to revenge killing that. So leftover is Pex. Iron Defense again, is it Haze? Okay. The problem is that you can't really destroy me. So now that I know it's Haze, let's recover Haze. Probably Surf. So I just Terra Fairy, Body Press here. Put that fucking Tusk in a pack. And this is where things get interesting. I do want to be careful of his Gambit. Now that I've Terra'd, it's going to be really hard for him to force me out. And that's what I'm banking on. So we're going to recover again here. The Great Tusk, I would much rather Salt Cure down. Actually, it's better to Salt Cure this turn. And then recover. Salt Cure this turn, recover next. As he goes back to Pex. Salt Cure is doing 45%. I mean, not, you know what I'm saying. But the problem is that he's constantly being cured the fuck up. And he can't continually switch in. And Poke can't do any damage. So it's a bit of an impatient win con, but I think even if somehow something comes out the bag that I'm not expecting, because the only wild card to me was the Enamorous. But even then, I don't know how the Enamorous would stop me unless it's like, from the damage it looked Scarf. I don't think Specs. I think Specs would have done more. So Hazes, and it's excellent that he's actually slower than me, because it's the problem is that I'm continually Iron Defensing. So Iron Defense again here on the out chance this Terra fucking goes shit. So there's something that I didn't account for, but he's Katao. He's not Ironhead. So Terra Ghost Gambit. This is why we're suspecting this motherfucker, right? I've never seen Terra Ghost before. So the body press counterplay wouldn't have been effective there. Obviously, Terra Ghost struggles with opposing Gambit. That's likely why he had low kick. He probably had Katao low kick, sucker punch. But yeah, I mean, I learned something just now. The Garg setup was fairly low risk. Fairly. Like, there are things that I said that I'm learning that I know could throw me out. But at the same time, I don't care if I lose the game as long as I get the lesson. Because once the thing works once, it's very unlikely to work again unless I forget. But if it's recent, it's very unlikely I'll forget. So that's what we're working with here. Now, looking in this game, Pelipper's core purpose, core benefit here. There's really just rain providing and knockoff, even though knockoff in this game isn't that great, because if you think about it, other than maybe removing this thing's item, you know, knock surf would be better than knock here. I guess boots, knocking out the boots would be useful, but I don't need Dragonite to be sitting in and setting up. Valiant's booster is going to be activated. Samurai's items typically meaningless, and Tusk, I don't need to explain why Tusk's not coming in on Pelipper. So Pelipper is really just rain bait. Braviary is a kill every time. Amoongus is a spore fodder every time, which would have you assume that he wouldn't mindless Samurai, but this is the Lador, of course, and so we know how that go. Great Tusk is decent, not amazing, just decent. Nothing to really guard against Shadow Ball if he mindlessly Samurai's turn 1. And let me think about Garg. Garg could 6-0 him as well. I do need to keep Bravier and Yao chances Terra poisons and does some weird shit. And Garg for Salt Cure and out of chances Terra Steel Crest. So phase 1 is going to involve shutting down, because I'm surprised the mindless shocks. It's not mindless, but I don't think I died to Terra Ice. DJ, if I died to Terra Ice, bro, wrong EVs. There's no way I died to a base 80 Terra Ice. So a Stealth Roxanne allows me to spore this, which is wonderful, because he cannot beat fucking Amoongus. Like, he really struggles with this Pokemon. What's Grass Knot's power? 80. I'll take 80. The only switching he has is Dragonite, which would give me the scale. And he doesn't have a Ghost type. So Dragonite's Tusk fodder, unless it's like some terrifying thing. But if it's a typical Encore, then and forcing this out gets rid of that speed advantage he has versus my Dragapult. I don't know if he didn't realize how problematic Amoongus is. I'm pretty sure he didn't until this moment. And that's the beauty of doing the team pre-fuel properly, right? It allows you to assess, because the opponent right now is trying to figure out what my Amoonguss is going to do versus my Amoonguss in the moment. I had already figured that out, and so it's allowed me to go several turns ahead while he's focused on just this turn. So Cresselia is his solution. Let's see what this does. I know it's going to Calm Mind, but I think I've seen one of these have Covert Cloak before. Okay, so that's the wave. That's what the kids are running these days. So I think I'll do what I did the last time. Though it won't work because he's not going to Terra, because he's not afraid of my Dragapult. I let him Calm Mind up too much, I think, so I might have just gotten smacked, but no, it worked. I need to make sure these shits don't Calm Mind the fuck up. So what? Stored power / I don't think he'd Moonlight. Pelipper's Rain doesn't matter that much anymore. So I'll go with Pelly. Does Moonlight though. So Braviary was the play, but he goes for Calm Mind again, which is blessed. So I didn't put Psyshock on there for Crest, but I'm really glad I put Psyshock on there now. It was, you know, in case I ran into like a fucking what's that shit called? A damn Clodsire, and you know, it's just that's useful. But yeah, I'm getting dropped by the stored power here. Issue is that I don't even know how much it's gonna do and if I can kill him with another move. Oh, he's Moonblast and it didn't kill. Phenomenal. So I forced the Crest out, forced Samurai in, which no complaints. Hey. One turn of Rain is good. I really want to spin, but he's definitely ceaseless edging. This could be Terra fucking... Oh, he already Terra, so he can't even... So what do I want to do? Because keeping Pelipper without the rain versus Braviary is like, you know, because Braviary can always scare the crest out. Whereas if it somehow heals... So let's say I let him ceaseless edge. I probably have to give up both Tusk and... But then I'll be able to get this weakened enough to where I can just Shadow Ball spam through his team. So I'm going to give up Pelipper here for this. Oh, he Swords Dances. I did not expect Swords Dance. Well, it depends on what. So Swords Dances again. Again, it depends on what. Is he like Aqua Jet? So I'll do is go. I'm not gonna tear up my faster, obviously, but he should, unless it's Rapid Spin, Razor Shell. If he has Sucker Punch, I'm finished. So let's say he does have Sucker Punch. She don't think I die. Ceaseless Edge. It's probably Jet. She's actually really bad. Okay, dang, that shit worked out. Fucking shit worked out. So can't get rid of his spike. Actually, I can get rid of his spike. Amoonguss is really important. I can't risk this being another banded headlong rusher. Amoonguss is really important. We saw how pesky Valiant was last time. So it goes Cresselia, which is blessed for us. It's Moonblast, probably stored power. It's gonna be faster. Let me see how much surf though. Is it relevant to Roost? It's actually useful to heal the Pelipper. Because I'm slower as well, I can go back to Braviary and click Hurricane. Now this healing is a bit of a bitch, but defensively, I think I should be straight. Especially because I'll never let Braviary die. And as long as I get rocks up, the Samurai's gonna die and I can just Psyshock spam. I want to be careful of his Dragonite though. The Samurai's Aqua Jet. So that means he could never have stopped my Dragapult. So it means Dragapult can come in and Shadow Ball freely. Definitely not giving Braviary up. Actually, Amoonguss probably eats Edge. Ceaseless. Probably takes 2. I don't want to take any damage. I don't think. I think 2 Ceaseless Edges, he gets all the spikes up. You'll get 3 layers and my Tusk will die. But if he gets 2 Ceaseless Edges up, he's sacking Samurai, which means I can Psyshock away. Yeah, I'll just actually Sludge Bomb is better here. Yeah, I knew he'd leave it in. Now my Amoonguss is super low, and my Great Tusk is dead, which isn't ideal. But if he goes to Valiant, I don't know. Is that the play? Should I just sack Tusk? If I'd gone Tusk, he wouldn't have switched, which is the issue. Because right now, I technically could Garg him. But, you know, with the Valiants and the Encores, there are too many variables that I don't know. Maybe Amoonguss wasn't the decision, though. So I asked for Tusk, which surprises me. It's a very surprising decision. Then Earthquakes of all things. So I don't agree with that at all. Especially because if I'm Braviary, like, I don't know what kind of tusk he is. Could be faster. Very low risk to just coming in with Pelipper here and surfing. Yeah, I figured he'd do some shit like that. But I get the U-turn advantage. Because when you go and tusk the first time, it was like, okay, what are you doing? So I get to roost. This is useful. Calm Mind's an awful play there. Because he has this Moonlight here, but I mean, but even if you didn't, what's it called? So I could, because my guard could technically beat the rest of his team too. So Mungus isn't getting any health back. So if I Psy Shock here, it did 62%. Let's cure. Because what we're gonna do is eventually, because he only has Moonblast and what's his face? So we're gonna do is Pelipper here. Oh, now he can't Moonlight as easily. Stored powers almost kills me, but the Braviary gets to come in and kill him back. Esper Wing is a bitch. Like, that would be useful, but since he has a Dragonite, it doesn't really matter. Now I don't ever switch. I Psy Shock into the first Dragon Dance. Let's see if it's oh no, Psy Shock's better. It's got an E-Speed. But I still think I lose because my Amogus is too low. I get why he Dragon Danced again there. That was the correct play. Because he needs to outspeed my Polt. Side shot. Me being modest would have been blessed here. I'm not pleased with how I played this game, but it is what it is. I think I could have played it more cleanly. The Samurott being Aquajet, I didn't know they ran that. So now I just died at it. Because that's the I'm like, I just died at EQ. So I let Dragonite become too much of an issue trying to deal with the other things, and I let Samurott get way too much leverage, which from a pretty easy game. So a good loss, but a pretty easy win that I didn't have to lose. I'm trying to think what, because I don't know what the Valiant is. I don't know. It's actually hard to say because I had to Terra Tusk because of his Samurott. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, well, if the more common set on Valiant right now is physical, then I could have just focused more on Garganical. So I think Garg, but if it was Encore Dragonite, Garg wouldn't beat it. So, you know, my opponent kept tucked what he needed to, and I feared Sucker Punch on the Samurott. Like, if I didn't fear Sucker Punch, then I wouldn't even have to do the whole Tusk situation the way I did it, because I could just go Polt and Shadow Ball him. So yeah, but yeah, good game nonetheless. Just don't want to toss those easy wins away. Very similar situation. Garg's just destructive, man. It's just a monster. And what we're gonna do here is lure these mindless Glamora leads. You surf, because this isn't even this could have Sludge Wave. This is the most dangerous thing to my Terra Fairy guard. Once this goes, honestly, I'm not even sure, unless it's Terra Ghost Gambit like the last one. Not even sure how he handles it, right? So I guess he could have Energy Ball. I'm tempted to hard switch Tusk and spin, but Energy Ball wouldn't kill me. Tusk is decent, but not enough to where I can't come in and spin. Yeah, so yeah, Spiky Shield, which is useful to know. He could either Terra Ghost here, because if he Energy Balls and then Spiky Shields afterwards, I'm screwed. So do I want to get greedy? No, I'm just gonna Rapid Spin. Unless he Terra Ghosts. Yeah, this Rapid Spin gets you the best of both worlds. So I've essentially taken no damage and killed a whole Pokemon. And these are the things you want to think about when you're going into them, right? Because you want to make sure that you're thinking, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? I don't think I did the right solution for the last game. I think even if it was Encore Dragonite, the Amoonguss positioning wasn't the best way. I could bait out. If it's Sucker Punch, then I can't bait him out to force him out with the Amoonguss's item. Yeah. So I'm very surprised about the Valiant switch. This doesn't make a lot of sense to me over Enamorous, unless there's something I'm missing. Because then there's no reality where the Valiant beats my Amoonguss, unless it's Ice Punch. I don't think Ice Punch could kill me. Maybe Zen Headbutt. It does force me to Terra though, which makes Garg's job harder. I don't know if the item works even if I die. You know what I should have done instead? I should have... Okay, so let's say he has Ice Punch. He's going to be Ice Punch or Zen Headbutt, right? So... because I need to send something in that he can CC. And then it'd force him out, and I wouldn't have to Terra. So let's think a bit more critically here. As much as I love Bravey in this game, so it's Spirit Break. So why the fuck would you set up? Okay. Alright, bro. So we're gonna just Spore here. Unless he predicted me there. Yeah. Okay. So Zamazenta gets put to sleep, which is blessed. Because it's going to open up. Now, especially because he's Physical Valiant. That's a really big piece of information to find out. Physical Valiant is ideal for my Garg matchup. So now we're going to Zamazenta. And the beauty of it is it forces his defense drop. Forces him to give up his defense drop. And I still have the... the Amoonguss to take on his Valiant and to take on his Enamorous. So what we're going to do is go to... It's already Terra, right? Did he Terra yet? Did he Terra yet? This isn't Terra, this isn't Terra, this is not. Okay, this could be long, but we're going to force the Terra here because it's Fallen 1 Gambit. It can't knock out my Amoonguss unless it hexes. I could go for a Hydro Pump here knowing that he's never Sucker Punching. He's never Katawing either. He's probably going to Swords Dance or Terra. I could get a good strong Hydro off, but for the long term of the game, I think it's better to just go Amoonguss as the Iron Heads. Actually, that did a ton to me. Katao +2 might knock me out. Oh, what am I doing? I already Spored Zamazenta. What am I saying? The Iron-Headed Poe would have eaten. My issue is the fucking, I can't deal with his Terra. What's the worst case scenario? I completely forgot that. I already put the Zamazenta to sleep. But at the same time, because I mean, if he's Terra flying, so be it. He has to use it here. He doesn't know my set, so I could be Ice Spinner, and that puts him in an awkward spot. So now I know the Gambit. Like, I'm gonna have to go on the offensive immediately. I'm surprised he keeps going to Valiant though, as if Valiant's somehow a solution. I could see him doubling back to Gambit, which is a really big problem for me. Very big problem for me. Yeah. Which implies that the Gambit is Terra flying. Which implies the Gambit is Terra flying. Not necessarily. But it implies probably Terra flying. Iron Heads again. I don't want to show him that I have knockoff. In case, because he's Iron Heading expecting me to have Ice Spinner, and I want to keep bluffing that until I get my Garganacl into Iron Defense. After that happens, it's going to be a very hard time for him, unless he specs Enamorous. So Valiant comes in, which is blessed, Love that. Love that. Now I think it's best to sack, because Swords Dance doesn't make any sense. So Spirit Break is what I want. Because now I can U-turn out and reposition into Dragapult, and I can Hydro Pump to force that Gambit not to be able to come in. Because even if he goes Gambit, it forces a Sucker Punch. If he Swords Dances, I could kill him. Yeah, I'm like Ultra Gambit weak with Terra. So he Spirit Breaks, which is great. I think if he's continually Spirit Breaking, I mean, I'd assume Knockoff maybe the other move. If I go Dragapult and Hydro Pump, I can force him to Terra. No. Well, if Encore is his next move, then so be it. But I think it's time. I think it's time. I can't keep letting that Gambit do whatever it fuck it wants. So let's see if it's Encore. If it's not Encore, then he's going to switch to Enamorous here. It's Knockoff. Okay. So I just Iron Defense then. Because he doesn't die to Salt Cure, I can recover. The leftovers being gone is big for him. It's just specs leftovers. If it's leftovers, then you would never let me Salt Cure you. So you would Terra into a Terra type that can deal with this, and you Terra type into a type that can deal with Salt Cure, and then you would substitute. Which I don't mind. Let's say it's Terra Steel. So it's best to Salt Cure here. I want to Body Press, but it's better to Salt Cure. I don't get 2 KO'd by boosted Enamorous. What I can't risk is him not Terraing, and I don't Salt Cure. Unless this is Terra Fairy, and he knocks me out. Say Calm Minds, which is great, because now I can come back in and do this shit again. So Moonblast is gonna do about half. I'd kill him, and how would he kill me back? He can't. Because I need to be very careful about his Gambit still, which is why part of me wants to switch out. But I have to be able to get the opportunity to Iron Defense again, which is very difficult to do. So I'll take... it's hard to say if I'll be able to take a Moonblast, an Iron Head from there. 38%. I'll recover on the off chance he Terra... what Terras would it be? Because it's Fallen 2. I don't think a Fallen 2 Iron Head is doing near enough. I haven't shown Body Press yet, but it's obvious that's what I'm packing. I'm afraid of him being Terra Ghost. So excellent, excellent. This is amazing. Because now I get to Iron Defense again to ensure things go my way. Because he wanted another Fallen and bait me to kill him there, which, you know, is not a bad play. Like, you want to go for broke. But let me see. Spirit Break 7%. Nah, it's not relevant enough to use. Actually, the recover 70%. That might matter. 25% extra. I don't need all my recovers, so if I'm going to use it, it's best to do it now. Because the Zamazenta is asleep. So I Salt Cure first on the off chance this is the Terra Ghost one. Okay. So now he's going to SD for sure. Or he's going to go for crit fishing. But now that I see that it's probably not Terra Ghost, that's fine. So Guard pulled it off. But again, this is more of a gimmicky team. But I am really Gambit weak. So much so that I might just put fucking Ice Spinner on. Like, it's such a concern. Like, I don't like having just a horrible, unwinnable matchup situation, kind of situation. I have Knock on Pelipper, and the way this team's function is less reliant on. Actually, I just realized it was 30 minutes in. She should have ended the live just now, but we'll play another one. Facing Opposing Rain, he's packing the Water Resists, the Water Abusers. I'm packing the Among Us, the Spore Users. Bro is having a Gambit. Bro has a Gambit. I have, he has 2 Dark types. I have a Hurricane User and a Dragapult. So similarly, Iron Defense Guard goes crazy. It's just the Greninja that I need to kill. Once that goes, it's a wonderful time. Offensively, Gren, weirdly enough, is kind of annoying. No one says that these days, but weirdly enough, it's kind of annoying. Zapdos, if I don't lead ideally, if I Pelipper lead and he Zapdoses, it's annoying. Because Zapdos can discharge and hacks, and I don't want to use my Amoonguss for that. And Zapdos seems highly probable because it's the only thing that scares off my Spore user. So we're gonna do, because if he what's it called, if he led Iron Treads, it wouldn't have been the end of the world, right? Offensive Zapdos is getting clapped, so Treads is a non-concern to me. For two reasons: it gives me rocks. I mean, it gives me rocks, yes, but also would have given me Spore Fodder. I'm actually surprised he opted for this. Rocks are more valuable to me. I know Pelipper is coming, but the risk versus reward of him going Basket Legion there. Yeah, I could knock it off, and you know that's one more thing gone, and blah blah blah. But I can always spin later. Rocks ensures me value, particularly versus Pelipper. And let me see. Dragapult. Yeah, Dragapult's the best play. I don't even need to be Specs. I don't even need Pult, but it's nice. Actually, Hurricanes. Come on. That adds variance to this turn that didn't have to be there. Depending on what his Pelipper set is. That's a frustrating confusion. He's definitely defensive based on the Hurricane damage. And he's U-turn. So I have to play this a bit more aggressively. If he's special, then I wouldn't want to risk my Pult anyway. So it goes Treads, which is blessed, because now I get Hurricane straight up. That's a dead Treads. That's a dead Treads. As he opts for Greninja, which is interesting. Not really, but it is at the same time. The reason being is that my Amoonguss isn't an amazing matchup. I guess he could Ice Beam. He could Ice Beam. My Pelipper is aight. My Garg is really keen. I want this shit gone. I want this gone. Big time. But it seems like it'd be a waste to give up my Braviary. If he Ice Beams and he Specs, my Amoonguss would drop. I have no Ice Resist, I've just realized. Dark Pulse. Okay. It's Life Orb. That means I could go Amoonguss, but no. He's probably Bond Battle. Bond Battle. Okay. It's better to phase him out, actually. I won't need my red card. I want to Spore something. Pelipper isn't, I mean, Zapdos isn't the greatest matchup for me, but meaning like of all the things that I could have lured out, Zapdos is probably the worst. But the upside is that I will get Spore Fodder eventually. I want his fucking Greninja gone. That's what I want. Gambit was obvious, but in fact, he's gonna double out to Pelipper here. That's a big annoyance. I'm gonna actually be a bit more aggressive here. I'm gonna do. This is a really aggressive play. I'm doubling, predicting his double. He goes Gren. Why would you go Greninja? What would you expect? I was expecting Tusk. Oh, that's frustrating. Greninja actually makes some sense then. The problem with Gren is that it's super risky if I double Draco, but maybe you think, oh, there's no reality where you double Dracos. Yeah, I'm actually realizing how problematic Battle Bond is for me. Okay, you can have the Battle Bond this turn. It's Ice Beams. Oh, it's fucking Ice Beam. I didn't know he had Ice Beam. I thought he just had Dark Pulse. And the reason that's bad is that means I might have to Terra my fucking Amoonguss, which I can't risk doing. I think I've lost. It's like a Terra Great Tusk. I've shown leftovers, so he knows. Shit. Oh well. Pretty sure I've lost this one, y'all. Battle Bond fucks me up. Him having Ice Beam in particular. I thought he'd be Protean, so it wouldn't matter as much with my Pult. Oh yeah, Grass Knot, bro. This is a straight counter team, bro. Ice Beam, Grass Knot, bro. But yeah, so we're gonna end it there. Yeah, I cannot deal with battle. I mean, that's not really a set. So I'm like, what would I do there? I have no switch-ins to that. Yeah, nah. I think my only thing I could have done differently would be to have kept the Pelipper, but Pelipper can't even damage it, which is the issue. It would just give me free switch back into. So I think what I needed to do there was play more aggressively with the Garganical and just set up, like fuck everything and set up. What I was concerned about was having to take a Life Orb Hydro Pump from the Battle Bond Gren in the rain. But for him to get that done, he'd need a lot of, not really. All he'd need to do is go to Pelipper and U-turn, and he'd force me out. So it wouldn't even, like, the Force Terra, like, now he knows I'm Terra'd. What my Terra type is, which is a problem for Gambit. So, yeah, we're going to wrap up the Braviary team. No, hopefully y'all enjoyed the live. And, yeah. If you have any suggestions for mods to build around, let me know. Peace.